Hello there, it's Carlo here. Welcome to another video, shall I say. This is a video I wanted to do for about a week or so now, and it sort of filters around the 2013 Mac Pro. I've been that close to going to get one. I'm currently running down on the floor here. I've got the Hackintosh still. And I've got the Quad i7 Mac Mini with a 500 gig SSD in there, and I've got another 500 gig external SSD on top for backup, 16 gigs of RAM, so on and so on. Now, I went to the Apple store, when was it, day before yesterday, just to have a look, get a new keyboard because I never had the official Mac keyboard, but now I've got the official one. And I did go and have a look at the Mac Pros. I won't lie to you. Sort of stood there, speaker with a missus, thinking, she said to me, look, if you want to get one, just get one. Do you know what I mean? But I couldn't part with the money. I really could not part or justify paying out nearly $4 grand for the spec that I want on a Mac Pro, a 2013 Mac Pro. To me, I feel like it's a waste of money, because I mean, you look at it value-wise, what you're going to be using it for, how you're going to be using it, when you're going to be using it. You're never going to need that amount of power. You really ain't. I mean, you think maxed out 64 gigs of RAM, dual D700 graphics, so on and so on. But you won't use that. The people that have gone out and spent, nearly, $3.5, $4 grand, whatever, on a Mac Pro, you're never going to use that spec. The time when you will use that spec and that, maximise the specification of the machine, you probably won't see that for another, say, 3-4 years. And then after that, the machine will be worth about £1,000 quid. Not even that. You'll be able to pick one up for about £1 grand. So that's what I sort of keep thinking to myself every time I go and get one. I mean, I've got the money, don't get me wrong, it's not about money. Money's neither here nor there. I can get one in a minute if I wanted to, do you know what I mean? The fact is, I can't justify spending £4,000 on a machine, maxed out specs like that you're never going to need. I mean, you think about it. Say for instance, gaming in general. You don't buy a Mac Pro 2013 model for playing fucking games. You just don't do it. I mean, that's just pathetic. Spending all that money just to play video games. You're better off getting a PS4 or Xbox One. You get that because obviously you're doing, it's creativity, you're doing something creative, whether it's making your YouTube videos, whether it's animation, whether it's Photoshop, so on and so on. That's why you buy it. But then look at the requirements that, for instance, Photoshop needs. They say recommended for Photoshops, RAM-wise, say for instance is 4 GB, recommended 8 GB. So if you have 16 GB of RAM in your system, you're laughing. Graphics, okay, they recommend 512 megabytes of RAM, 512 megabytes graphics card, recommended a gig plus. So in your Mac Pro, you've got, say for instance, 6 gigs of VRAM. You're not going to need that. All that's doing is basically loading up your programs quicker. Oh, look how quick my programs load. Oh, look how quick I can scrub through Final Cut. It's just SSD that's doing that. It's your hard drive that's doing that, trust. Because I guarantee if you used to put, for instance, a mechanical hard drive in your Mac Pro, yeah, you'll sort of, it'll be quick, don't get me wrong, but you'll still, you'll see the difference over the PCI flash storage and the SSD over the traditional mechanical hard drive. So, this machine, for instance, behind me, I mean, I've got the Hackintosh down here on the floor, which I use with this monitor, and I've got the Mac Mini, which I use with this monitor. But both of them are set up to use both displays whenever I want. So there's quite a few connections there. Now, this flies. When I had the mechanical hard drive in the Mac Mini to start off with, it ran Final Cut Pro brilliantly. Do you know what I mean? There was a tiny little bit of lag when you're scrubbing through, but then as soon as I put the SSD in there, bang, it flies like you wouldn't flipping believe. Do you know what I mean? So to me, this machine, spent £1,000 for, justifies itself because it's only £1,000, and I could probably upgrade this machine, say 3-4 times over. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is, say for instance next year Apple come out with a new Mac Mini, I could buy the next one, sell this one on, make about 600 quid on it. You know, year after that, or about 3 years after that, buy a next one. But then by then, at that point, say 3 years in the past, I'll be able to get the Mac Pro, the 2013 Mac Pro, because then it will be justifiable what you're using, because probably, you know, in 3 years' time, you will probably need, you know, 32 gigs of RAM to run, say, for instance, After Effects, because the programs, the programs, sorry, technology-wise, will evolve. You know, the amount of graphics you need, you know what I mean, to develop more high-end video. It's a bit like, for instance, 4K. You know, there's people out there, you know, including myself. I've uploaded a couple of 4K videos on my channel, just for fun. But there's people up there constantly uploading 4K videos. But how many people out there got 4K TV or 4K monitor? These things are stupidly priced. So it's basically the same as the Mac Pro, you know. I'm trying to get it to make sense of what I'm trying to express to you guys. You will not need to use the full specifications of the Mac Pro, 2013 Mac Pro, for at least another 3 years, because no program out there demands it or requires that sort of spec machine. Going back to what I said previously earlier, you know, for instance, After Effects recommended 8 gigs of RAM. You have 16, you're laughing. Do you know what I mean? As long as you've got a decent GPU, you know, and a decent processor, you're fine. So, I think I've made my point sort of quite clear. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. I don't know what to think about a 2013 Mac Pro. Maybe you guys can turn around and give me some feedback and say, you know, just tell me what you think, what I should do, because me Hackintosh flattens a Mac Pro to start off with, okay, and this little Mac Mini here, Geekbenched about 15,000 on Geekbench. It's fast as hell. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's fast as hell, and it's doing everything I need it to do. You know, I get the ump where there's a lot of videos out there saying, you know, can I edit a video on my Mac Mini? Oh, fuck yeah, of course you can. Your Mac Mini can do more than you flipping think. Do you know what I mean? As long as you take out the traditional hard drive and put an SSD in, and make sure you got the Quad i7 with a 16 gigs of RAM. Because at the moment, this is equivalent to a Retina MacBook Pro. Do you know, MacBook Pro, yeah. That's how fast it is. It's very quick. It's doing everything I need it to do and more. So, I'm not in a hurry, even though, you know, I sort of want to move with the times and think to myself, yeah, I should get one because everyone else is getting one. Or is that a bit childish to think like that? Everyone else is getting a Mac, you know, a Mac Pro. Shall I join the clan of MacBook Pros? Sorry, the 2013 Mac Pro clan, or should I stay where I am because I'm happy where I am? You know, the 2013 Mac Pro it's a nice looking machine, the flower pot thing. I still don't understand what the fuck, you know, Apple was thinking about that. But I don't think it's feasible for me to, you know, get my credit card out and say goodbye to £4,000, because to me that would make me cringe, spending £4,000 on one of them machines. You know, I can't justify £4,000 just to get, say for instance, save, you know, 6 or 7 minutes on your rendering time, or 10 minutes on your rendering time. Fucking patience is a virtue, and I save myself £4,000. Do you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts. You know, I probably will get one in a couple of years when they drop down, you know, to a couple of grand. But then, or maybe £1,000. But then you're probably going to get a new Mac Pro within the next 2 years, exactly the same as they did with the silver version, the old Mac Pro. You had the 2008, you had the 2010, so on. Sorry, 2006, 2008, 2010. So guaranteed in 2 years' time there will be a new Mac Pro with a faster GPU, and you know, will probably take 128 gigs of RAM, something fucking pathetic like that. You know, specs that you're never going to use, because unless you're, you know, trying to pilot a flipping NASA space station jets or whatever, you're not going to use them fucking specs at all. So, you know, you guys out there that have gone out and bought a Mac Pro, I take my hat off to you, but don't, you know, how are you going to justify, you know, a system that is incredibly fast that you're never going to push to the limits? You're never going to push that machine. The same as, you know, with my Hackintosh, you know, I'm never going to push that to the limits. Everything I do, the only intense thing that I do is rendering. But then, you know, there's a lot of people say, yeah, save time on your, you know, save a bit of time on your pipeline, you know, save time on, you know, rendering your work, you know, get a faster computer. Well, fucking hell, I'll wait the 15, 20 minutes more, do you know what I mean? That don't bother me. If my client, you know, can't wait 15, 20 minutes, you know, extra, longer for a video render, then sure, I'll go somewhere else. I'll take my business somewhere else. Don't bother me. Do you know what I mean? But then most clients will, you know. That's the only thing that obviously you would probably buy a 2013 Mac Pro is for rendering. But, you know, there's not that much of a difference in rendering time between, say, for instance, a Mac Mini and a 2013 Mac Pro. You know, even using V-Ray and stuff like that, you know, it would probably take, you know, probably about 20, 30 minutes longer to render it on a Mac Mini than it does on a Mac Pro, but it's doing the same frigging thing. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, my Hackintosh will render probably as fast as a Mac Pro, even faster actually, especially if you're running Windows and you're running all this animation stuff on Windows. It will blow the hell out of any Mac for rendering, because the programmings are designed, you know, like After Effects and all that, are designed for PC. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I've got a desk tour coming up soon. I'm just still waiting for me widescreen monitor to add to this. But yeah, I hope this has made sense and I haven't rambled too much. I just wanted to tell you guys where I'm at and how I feel about the old 2013 Mac Pro business. I, you know, went into the Apple store, like I said, you know, I was tempted, but I said, no way. My missus said, well, get one, do you know what I mean? Get a Mac Pro. If you want one, buy one, but I wasn't buzzing. I wasn't thinking, yeah, man, I want to buy this now, do you know what I mean? This is exciting. Woo, going, you know, doing unboxing. I sort of stepped back and I thought, fuck that, I'm not handing over £4,000, no fucking way. You have to be having a laugh. £1,000 is feasible. £1,500 is feasible, do you know what I mean, for a computer? Because, to me, with my Hackintosh down here, I'll put £4,000 into this Hackintosh and you see what sort of a machine I can get. Yeah, you see your 2013 Mac Pro, goodbye, and leave it for dust. But the fact is I don't want to, because I don't need to. I'm never going to use that amount of power or horsepower to do anything. You know, what I do for work is I'm a freelance visual effects artist, so I do visual effects for AAA movies and some B movies out there as well. I have worked on some pretty big projects over the years, and you know, most of my work I do at home, and my computers at home handle it no problems. I don't think to myself, shit, you know, I need to go out and buy a 2013 Mac Pro. I don't need to, because everything I do, you know, I've done on this machine, on these machines that I've had indoors. So that's my thought on it, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope I ain't giving you a fucking headache. Do you know what I mean? And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Also, I want to thank you guys as well for your support and your subscribing. You know, I really do appreciate you know, all your support, guys. It really means a lot. So guys, thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, guys.